one of the things that I've noticed sometimes guys do on like even first dates will be like, oh yeah, this girl fancies me and this girl fancies me. And for me, that's like the biggest turn off. Well, Andy's for my friends. So Chris's and Andy's are off the list. And I know like the girls even say like you should have at least 3 in rotation at one time, and I'm like, I can't do that.
Yo guys, welcome back to another episode on my channel. I'm sitting in this spot, which means I have a great conversation lined up for you today. You know, on this channel we like to talk about all things dating and talk about the things that are going to help us attract the kind of person and relationship that we want. So without further ado, please welcome Joanne.
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 Yeah, Joanne.
Please welcome Joanne to the show. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right. Thank you for joining us. And you got your fancy cup of tea there.
I do. I have my tea in my non-branded cup, which we're going to sort out for you.
I know. I've only got the pillow, but she's going to get me some branded cups. I'll hold her to it. So let's jump in. So I want to start with, tell us your age or your age range, right?
Okay,
ask a lady her age. And tell us one thing a guy should know about you if you want to take on a date.
Okay. Okay, so guess my age.
No, but tell us your age or your age range. Or you want me to guess?
Yeah.
Bear in mind, I did meet her at a networking event last week. So you didn't tell me, but I'm going to say mid-20s. I'm going to say 24, 25.
Okay. I'm 35.
You're 35? Yeah. No, are you?
Yeah, I am.
She got it, boy.
Thank you.
I don't know, whatever it is.
You're being generous. I thought you might go 28, 29, but 24, 25, I will take that.
Yeah, I just said mid-20s.
Thank you.
Because you do carry yourself like a woman, but you don't appear as older as you say. So
my inner child.
Yeah, inner child. Listen, life is about playing.
Wow.
Life is about playing. Okay, so you're 35.
Yeah.
And what should a guy know about you if you want to take on a date?
I've been single for a year. I've been working on myself. So really trying to find out like about me, what my triggers are, like what my love languages are, so I could actually meet someone and know who I am. Because I just think it's really important that like the guy's working on himself individually, I'm working on myself, and then when we meet, we can work on like the relationship together.
I hear that. What have you discovered so far about yourself?
I kind of have been attracting guys that I want to help or fix, basically. So
she's a Mr. Build-A-Bear.
Yeah, and I think I'm a bit too forgiving and too nice. So if there's a red flag, I've got better. Like these last few months, I've got more. No, red flag, it's not happening.
Okay.
But prior to that, I kind of like skipped over the red flags and kind of...
Was it because you didn't see the red flags, or you would see them and be like, nah, let me just see how it goes?
Yeah, I think I'd make excuses for them.
So would you do that for every guy? Or
not every guy.
You really liked?
A lot of the guys I was meeting, they were like love bombing me at the beginning.
Oh, wow.
So then I'd be like, oh, this is great. You know, the first 6 months is so good.
Yeah.
And then after like 6 months, the red flags start appearing. But by that time, you're already kind of committed to this person and you've already built like a relationship with them. So then you're like, well, this person wasn't like it at the start. So then you kind of try and just see how it's going to go, see if you can fix a few things, see if it's going to work.
Yeah.
But the thing is, in that situation, no, the person who they are is what they show you after 6 months. And it's kind of a bit late to see the red flags after 6 months because you're kind of invested a little bit already.
Interesting. I get that. Is it, I don't disagree, but I want to challenge a little bit.
Yeah.
Because after 6 months is usually when the honeymoon period has worn off.
Yeah.
So is there an element of...
Sorry.
Yeah, you're good. Is there an element of when you're in the honeymoon period and it's new and it's exciting, because you're blinded by that, the red flags are there, but you just don't see them. Do you see what I'm saying? Because it's
Possibly.
and tell me your experience, but I feel like if there was a red flag that you saw then with a previous partner, that you're like, oh my gosh, he's like this, and the cue he was like this was X. I feel like if you saw X within the first few dates of a different guy, you'd see it straight away because you've had that experience.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
Is there an element of that?
kind of true. I feel like they kind of play into certain things. So I'm quite open at the start of like dating. So I will be like, these are my love languages: quality time, physical touch, for example. And then I feel like that's played into. So you don't necessarily see there's going to be a red flag around your love languages, because love languages are like what makes you committed to a relationship and what makes you feel loved in a relationship.
Sure.
So if someone's played into those like love languages, you're like, yeah, this is my like soulmate or whatever.
Yeah.
And then after like 6 months, they slowly take those away. Then it's like you don't see that coming necessarily.
So can you give us an example? Like I mean, you don't have to share anything you don't want to.
Yeah.
But can you give us an example of maybe a red flag that you saw only 6 months in that maybe you wouldn't have seen initially?
Yeah. Okay. So I was dating this guy for a year and a half. And the first 6 months were great. Like my love language is, like I said, quality time, physical touch. And he was very affectionate. Like even if we'd go for a walk, he'd like hold my hand and stuff. And I don't need that constantly, but I do like a bit of affection, a bit of touch, because that's part of who I am.
Yeah.
And time is important to me. So if someone like cancels on me, like they need to say sorry and like call me. Like just canceling and not apologizing for me is like disrespect of my love language.
Of course.
So
I think that's perfectly reasonable. 100%.
yeah. So the first like 6 months, none of that was happening. Then after 6 months, he just got really odd. Like I would touch his arm in public. He'd be like, I don't like public displays of affection. And we'd be like out like in the Cotswold where there's like no one around. And he'd just have a go at me for like touching his arm.
And were you being affectionate up until that point and he had no issues with it?
On and off. So sometimes he'd be like, I don't want you to like touch my... Basically, there was still some baggage left over that wasn't resolved. So I wasn't fully like, what's the word? Like not everyone knew about me basically. Okay. But the thing is, when it comes to like, you're in the middle of nowhere in the Cotswolds and then he's having a go at you, it's like, no, this is like a little bit controlling perhaps.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you don't have, have a go at your partner while you're in public about something. But I'm the reason I'm asking is because was it a change? Was it like, because obviously naturally as we develop a relationship with someone, we do usually get more affectionate with them.
Yeah.
And I don't know, you'd have to share his history or what it was, but it was it's natural maybe for us to be more affectionate with them. And if we're with someone where that is a bit of a weird territory for them, of course, it can feel like a rejection, but I'm asking, did that change or was he like that from day one?
No, he wasn't like that from day one. Because I said to him, if I knew this was how you would be, I never would have like gone with this, because this isn't part of what makes, like I wouldn't have like fallen for him, because those are my love languages and those will make me fall in love with someone. So if they're not there at the beginning, then I probably wouldn't have gone there, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, so. Okay, interesting. So, I mean, is that a red flag or is that just I guess that's just not compatible for you as opposed to like a specific red flag?
Yeah. But there have been red flags recently that I perhaps ignored.
She did her homework, guys. I was like, bring some stuff that you want to talk about and ask questions. And she's got a whole page here. She's handing in her paper. So, yeah, why don't you choose something from there?
Okay, so
also,
recently...
as well, I know my lovely producer is very attractive, but you can just look at me.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
Because they can't see him. You can't see how attractive he is.
I can't help it.
But he is. And she can't help but get looked at. I feel very neglected. No, I'm just
really
playing.
sorry.
I'm joking.
I'll turn this way a bit more.
But yeah, go for it. Why don't you ask something?
Okay, so recently there was a dating coach.
Yep.
Based in the US.
Okay. Matthew Hussey, joking.
No, he's not like that big. Okay. But my brother lives in the US, so I travel quite a bit to the US. I was just following him. I thought he was cute, but I wasn't going to like pop into his DMs and be like, I think you're cute, because I just think he would have thought that was weird.
What? Did you think he was cute?
I did think he was cute.
So what would be wrong with that?
But then if loads of girls are popping into his DMs thinking he's cute, he's probably not going to reply. Like, who's this random girl messaging?
But you could be the one he replies to.
Maybe.
Don't be afraid to shoot your shot, but carry on.
So in the end, something happened and his page got like copied or something. So I messaged him and was like, oh, just to let you know, your page has been copied because they've started following me. And he replied, he's like, oh, thanks for letting me know. And then I like replied to one of his stories. And then he started talking to me. He's like, oh, I see you've been to Texas, blah, blah, blah. Then every day we were having like little conversations, like back and forward, like exchanging voice notes and just chatting and stuff. And I was like, okay, this guy's kind of cute. He wants to talk to me. He seems really emotionally intelligent based on his page. So I was...
And if he's a bit of a dating coach. I'm biased, but you might know what he's talking about. Yeah, go on.
Let me tell you the story and then you can tell me honestly.
Okay.
So yeah, so we're talking backwards and forwards, and he was like, kept saying, come over, come to the States, want to meet you, blah, blah, blah. So it's like, okay. So I was actually going to Austin for a bachelorette party, but it was one of those things where I didn't know if I could go or not. There was a lot going on with work. Like, I've been really stressed this year with work. And it was kind of like I wanted to go, but I was going to the US again in July for the wedding. So I was a bit back and forwards, like whether I was going to go or not. And I did tell him that. But then I was like, you know what? I actually quite want to meet this guy as well. So if I tag on an extra day, I can do the bachelorette party, which I'm so glad I went to. And then tag on the extra day and see him.
Yes.
So I told him, like, we planned it. And then like 2 weeks before I was meant to go, he stopped messaging a bit. And I was like, okay, there's something a bit odd. You know, when you get a feeling that there's something a bit off.
Yeah, you felt a shift.
Yeah, I felt a shift. So I was like, what's going on? Like, you seem to have changed a bit. And he's like, yeah, what do you think it is? And I'm like,
oh,
I don't know. You know, like, no idea.
Yeah.
And then he basically said this story about his ex, and some girl in England had like messaged his ex saying that he was hitting on her, and it was just quite confusing. And I was like, that's got nothing to do with me.
Oh, so he thought you were that girl.
Well, he knew who the girl was, but he said, I don't know if you're like involved with it, blah, blah, blah. So then I messaged, I was like, this has nothing to do with me. And I said, I've, you know, been talking to you for quite a while, and I kind of thought, you know, I'm coming over. I kind of thought we liked each other. I don't really know what this is about your ex. Like, I feel like there's stuff you've not really got over there from the way he was talking. Right. And obviously I've not met this guy, so I'm not like super hung up about it, but I'm like, I am going to the US in like 2 weeks, and would quite like to meet you and see.
Just to see.
And then, so then he called me and he was like, oh, I didn't think it was a big deal. We've just been like messaging. And I was like, well, for me, it kind of was, because I don't have a lot of time. Like, I'm busy with my business and work, and I don't have a lot of time to be messaging someone every single day to be talking. So if I've invested that time in someone, then it's because I like them. And he's like, oh, I didn't think it was a big deal. Even my friends were like, what, you guys have been chatting like all the time? I was like, okay, is this me? Am I being... Anyway, I mean, you've got to be careful, because it's like, I'm thinking he might be nice, but that's only potential, right? I've not met him, so I don't know.
True.
And then... He said to me, oh, I don't know, I might be out of town when you're here now. And I was like, okay. So as soon as he said that, I knew he was going to cancel, because he said, I'll let you know in a week. But I already knew that he was going to cancel. Anyway, a week later, he sends me a message and he's like, unfortunately, I'm not going to be there. I've got to go to Minnesota. He did not apologize. He did not say sorry. He then said, it's more convenient for me to go this time. He's like, I don't have to go, but it's more convenient for me to be out of town this time. And I was like, well, that kind of puts me like really low on priority, but okay. And I just replied with, can you not go the week after? And he's like, no, it's more convenient. And then I was like, okay, guess that puts me in my place, because I was like, this guy is not interested. He doesn't like me.
Sure.
He then unfollows me.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought that was that. So I go off to the US on my bachelorette trip. My girls are like, why don't you just put your Hinge there? Like, maybe go on a date if you feel like it, just to see. And I didn't go on any dates while I was there, but I did put my Hinge on, and then a few people like followed me on Instagram, and we were following each other, but I didn't actually go out.
Was it people followed you from your Hinge?
Yeah.
Right. So we were other guys and stuff.
Yeah, like guys I'd matched with on the Hinge, and then we were following each other on Instagram. There's only like 3, 4, 5 guys, something like that. But I never went on it because I didn't actually want to. When I got there, I was like, the bachelorette party was so fun. I had a great time with the girls, and actually that's what I went for. And I was like, is there any point me actually meeting someone in Austin? Like, they live on the other side. Like, you know, it's not really an easy thing to sort of work out if you're going to start dating. So I didn't actually go on any dates in the end. Anyway, like a month and a half ago, sorry, is this story too long?
No, go for it. Okay. Give me all the details and then we'll do a proper breakdown.
Okay.
I've got some things already.
Oh, great. Okay.
Tucking away.
So a month and a half ago, he messages me and he's like, hey, how are you? And I'm like, huh? So I messaged back and I was like, sorry, like you unfollowed me. You didn't apologize for like cancelling. I don't really understand. And he replied, well, if you're all in your feelings, then, you know, if you're not going to mature enough to talk about it. And I was like, I wanted to talk about this 2 months ago. I've got no problem speaking about it. But I felt like he was then trying to manipulate me at that point because he's saying to me, if you don't want to talk about it, you're being immature. And I was like, okay. Anyway, after that, he was calling me every night for like 2 hours. So the last like month, he was calling me every single night for like 2 hours. We're chatting, blah, 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 blah. And then I was like, well, if you want me to come back over, like, you can get me a flight. I'm not, like,
absolutely, pay for my flight.
Yeah, that's what I said to him. I said, you can pay for my flight if you want me to come back over, because I've been in the US twice since we started talking and you have not seen me.
100%.
And then he was like, okay. So then we started arranging a time for me to go. And then a couple of weekends ago, he messaged, he was like, I've just noticed that we've got some mutual friends on... you're friends with some of my mutual friends on Instagram. How has this happened?
Wait, so you have some mutual friends on Instagram?
Not mutual. So one of his friends...
Yeah.
No, someone added him who knows one of his friends. And when he clicked on his page, there was mutual and one of them was me.
Oh, okay.
So it's not like his direct friend. It's like a friend of a friend.
A friend of a friend.
Is a mutual with me.
Got you.
He was like, how's this happened? And I was like, well, I have been to the US in December.
Yeah.
Because my brother lives there. And I was there in May for this bachelorette party. And my Hinge was active when I was there. Oh, I can't talk to a woman, like I can't be with a woman that, you know, just because I've got to work and you don't understand, gets onto Hinge.
Okay.
And I'm like, what? So then I'm questioning myself. I'm like, have I done something wrong? So I tried to like be there, like listen, like make sure he felt heard, like validate his feelings, like try and understand where he's coming from.
Right.
Would I be upset in that situation? But we'd also have a conversation where we're obviously not exclusive. We've not even met each other.
Yeah.
Like we're both still single.
Yes.
And I'm just like, how is this guy annoyed with me? And like, maybe it's just an excuse to stop talking to me. And I think the words like toxic, red flag, selfish were used. And I was like, I don't think I'm those things. Like my friends wouldn't describe me as that. My friends would like, I've had to ask them before, like what sort of person do you think I am for like an interview process thing?
Yeah.
And they all came out with empathetic, kind. Like I'm not the sort of person who will try and like be mean to someone.
Yeah.
So I'm reading it and I'm getting really annoyed because I'm like, why is this guy saying I'm these things?
Yeah.
And I don't know why I'm getting annoyed. So I'm trying to work on myself and think, why is this irritating me so much? Like, it's almost like he's projecting onto me and it's annoying me. And I feel like I need to defend myself to him. But then I shouldn't be wanting to defend myself because actually I should be just like, no, this is a red flag.
Sure.
I already bypassed the first red flag and let you back in.
Yeah.
And anyway, he's unfollowed me again now. So he's like annoyed at me and he's unfollowed. And I'm not going to speak to him now because that's done. But I just think it's a really crazy situation.
Interesting story. Okay. So let's break it down. So at the beginning, at first, you guys were talking a lot, etc. Now, I understand, first thing I would say, is I understand that you're like, oh, we've talked so much and stuff, and now you're not going to see me. And you're completely justified in feeling that way. But he doesn't owe you anything.
Yeah.
And you don't owe him anything. Like you hadn't even met.
Yeah.
I know you made plans to, and the fact that it seemed like he could have chosen to meet you and he didn't. Yeah. That's on him, 100%. Yeah. Like that was a douchey thing to do.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why I think that happened in a minute.
Okay.
But I get you're like, oh, but I invested my time talking to you and everything. Absolutely. Yeah. But you chose to do that. You didn't have to, but you chose to. And obviously nothing's ever guaranteed, right? So you don't owe each other anything. Yeah. Now, did he handle that well with you if he chose to go to Minnesota over you, etc.? He did not. Yeah. Right? But I think what's happened, and I think this is what's happened with him in general, he's got major trust issues. Because the second you guys were talking and then he heard about some British girl getting in touch with his ex-girlfriend or something, he instantly thought it was you. Yeah. And the reason he didn't see you was because he was like, okay, I've been talking to this girl, but I actually don't know her. Yeah. She's a British girl. What are the chances that when I start talking to this girl that I'm going to meet, suddenly this other British girl suddenly gets in contact with my ex-girlfriend? So he might have thought you were lying to him. Yeah. So his dismissal of you of, oh yeah, it's more convenient for me to go next week, but I'm going to go this week and I'm going to choose not to see you. At that moment, he probably didn't trust you and felt you were lying to him. So he disconnected from you, which is why he unfollowed you, whatever, all this. And then what I think happened was that he then probably reflected. He either found out that the British girl wasn't you, or he probably reflected and thought, I probably cut that off too soon, because if you guys were talking, because you said you were talking like every day,
Yeah.
right? So he would have put a level of investment into it as well,
Mm-hmm.
right? He would have put a level of investment into it as well. So he definitely would have felt that he lost something. But his trust issues got the better of him in that. So he probably reflected and thought, I probably cut that off too soon. And that was the sensible side of him. And then he saw the mutual friend and he was like, trust issues came up, was like, nope, not doing it. That triggered him.
Okay.
Clearly he's not that aware of it, right? I think that he is, there's two sides of him. There's the hurt, triggered side, and there's the sensible side, right? And the hot and cold is what side you're getting.
He's a Gemini as well, I'm just saying. Gemini men, I'm just saying.
So it's like, I think that's what happened with that. And clearly he's not in a place. Now I get it. It's harder because he's not met you.
Yeah.
And though you've been talking consistently, I completely get that. Because he's not met you, it's harder to establish that foundation level of trust. But especially, yeah, he saw that mutual friend, right? And you were honest, you're like, yeah, I was there, but I went on Hinge and I connected with some guys. Like, nothing happened, but I did do it, right? And you're absolutely right to, just be honest with that. But he, that just triggered that trust issue side in him. And then that's why he kind of went off on you and stuff. So he's got trust issues.
Yeah.
That's basically what it is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Anything surprise you from what I've said? Or?
No, it does make sense. Because I think he makes out like doesn't have like he's very secure, but I was like, you kind of go quite avoidant, like if there's something you don't like. And I did actually get him to do the attachment test because I was like, I think you're an avoidant. Anyway, he came back secure, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny because it can, someone can be secure when they're in a relationship.
Okay.
But
the dating
getting
phase,
there is a different kettle of fish. And a lot of the time, the security or insecurity we have is quite well correlated to how much we like someone.
Right.
So the more we like someone in the dating phase, when we don't have the security of whether they like us the same or not, we are more prone to be insecure. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that could be the case with him.
Okay.
But it sounds like he definitely has trust issues.
Yeah.
That he needs to sort out. Do you know what I mean? Especially if you've kind of openly communicated, like, look, I've been very honest. This is what it was, but I'm open to talking to you. But yeah, if I'm going to come see you, you're flying me out, which I'm so glad you did, because there was not, like, how he handled it. There was, if he wants to see you and you're going to make the journey, the least he can do is cover the flight. Yeah. The least.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Interesting story. Interesting. What did your friends say when you told them that?
They were just like, no. They were all like, block him, like the first time round. And then when he started talking to me again, they were like, oh, like, we're not sure about this. And then like a few weeks later, I'm like, he's unfollowed me again.
Yeah. The thing is, I don't even necessarily, I mean, I haven't talked to him. You would know better than me.
Yeah.
It may not even be he's a bad guy. He's just dealing with some shit.
Yeah.
And how long was his past relationship?
A few years, I think. But that also had broken up not that long ago. And I think there was still some stuff they were dealing with. So he's probably not fully over that as well, which doesn't help, because then your emotions are in sort of two places and then you're very confused and you're trying to like work that stuff out. So
I get that. I get that. No, yeah, I think that's what happened. Do you have something else?
I do.
Yeah,
I
go
have
for
loads
it.
of things.
Go for it. We're going to rattle them through.
So, when you're on Hinge and you match with someone, you go out on a couple of dates, you quite like them, you're like, okay. And then you go onto their Hinge profile to show like your friend their profile and you notice they've updated something on it.
Okay.
So then you're like, okay. So like I was discussing this with one of my friends because it does happen quite often. And so I'm like, is it because they're being insecure and they feel like they need to see what else is there and they want to keep everything quite open? Or like from the girl's perspective, I mean, it works both ways. Does that mean this guy thinks there might be something better and he wants to continue looking? Like at what stage? Because for me, if I've matched with someone and I've been on a couple of dates, I'm not going to be updating my Hinge profile for them to see that I've updated my Hinge profile, potentially looking for someone else.
Right. I mean, that's assuming that they're going to be looking at your Hinge profile. I get it.
Yeah. But if they did and they saw it, then, you know.
Yeah, they know that you could potentially see it.
Yeah.
I understand that. it's not insecure. It's just if you've gone a couple of dates, neither of you are exclusive to each other.
Yeah.
So you're available to date other people if you want.
Yeah.
And he might have updated it because maybe he likes you, but he doesn't know if you like him.
Yeah.
And you don't know if you have the same values, whether you're compatible.
Yeah.
You don't know all of that within the first few dates.
Yeah.
So it could be, oh, I really like her, but I don't know if this is going to go well or not.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stay open to other options if other options come.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think it's insecurity. It's just, and I always say this, until you've had the conversation that you're exclusive, he's most likely open to dating other people.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So if after you've been on a couple of dates with a guy, if another guy that you like the look of and you met on a different night and you vibe with him, if he asked you out, would you be like, nah, sorry, I'm taken?
I wouldn't say I was taken. I would consider it. But the thing is, I find it difficult to like split where I am, like, and I only have limited time and I'm busy like working on myself and my business. So then if I'm on a date with one guy and the confusion that comes with that, and I know like the girls even say like you should have at least 3 in rotation at one time, and I'm like, I can't do that, like that my brain cannot handle that. And I tried it once and I got caught.
Oh, tell us that story.
Oh my gosh. So I went on a date with this guy. No, so I was dating, this was just after COVID.
Yeah.
And I was dating like a few times a week because at that point in time I was actively dating and I was like, I want to meet someone. And I'd been on a date with one guy, say on the Wednesday, and we just went for a walk in Battersea Park, got on really well with him. I was like, he's quite nice. I'd like to see him again. But then like the next week I went for a coffee with this other guy and I was like, oh, I quite like this guy too. And then I was a bit confused. And then I went on a second date with this one I went for the coffee with. I had a really good date with him, really liked him, but I'd already planned a second date with the other one. So I was like, I need to go. I just need to see. So I went, and it was kind of during when it was still a bit not lockdown, but it was just opening back up. So it was very quiet.
Yes.
And I went to Borough Market with this guy. We had dinner, and then we were like walking around. He was holding my hand.
Second date?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
And the next day I was going for brunch with the other guy.
Okay.
So
you didn't go home with it. You didn't go home with him that night.
I did not go home with him. I went back to my own bed, and the next day I get up, I go to pick up this other guy, and we go for brunch, and he was like, what were you up to last night? And I was like, oh, just, went to Borough Market with a few like work people, blah, blah, blah. I didn't want to say I'd been on a date.
I get it.
Because I actually quite liked this one.
Of course.
And I'd made the decision on that night that I didn't like the other one that was holding my hand.
Right.
So, go for brunch with him, and he was like, oh, okay. I was like, what were you up to? He's like, oh, I was in Borough Market. And I was like, oh, but he never said anything. But then we went for brunch, it was good. And then he started getting a bit weird.
Yeah.
And we're actually kind of friends now and have actually spoken to it since. And he was like, no, I never saw you, but I know what you're going to say. And I don't know if he did see me, but I feel like I got caught. Like, Borough Market was so quiet. There's no way he would not have seen me walking around holding this guy's hand.
So didn't you ask him? So you didn't see him?
I asked him like a year later.
Right. So what happened after that second
Like, he just kind of stopped talking, and then he was like, oh, I think I'm going to get back with my ex. But there was no ex, because he told me a year later there was no ex. So I think he just freaked out.
Yeah, it sounds like he saw you.
Doesn't it?
Sounds like he saw you. He probably saw you, yeah. And the thing is, I mean, anyone today, like, I don't want to say this is how the game is played, but this is how the game is played. Like, if you go on 2 dates with someone, they may still go on dates with other people. That comes with it. Is it awkward and not nice if you see them on a date with someone else? Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But sometimes that comes with it. And yeah, if you're going to be someone, if you're going to date multiple people, that's the risk that you take.
What would you do in that situation, though?
If I was the guy? Or the girl?
If you were a guy and you saw the girl that you'd been on 2 dates with, you quite liked her, and you saw her like holding someone else's hand. How would you feel, and how would you behave in that situation?
Well, if I saw, the holding hand thing.
Yeah.
That's different than date, because that makes you look like an item.
Right, okay.
So I would have been like, I probably would have been like, oh yeah, what'd you get up to last night? Mm-hmm. And you'd be like, oh, there with my friends. I'd be like, okay. I'm like, so you weren't there with a guy then?
You would have asked straight.
100%. What? Yeah, 100%. Because if you're you might be in a relationship and I don't know.
Yeah.
You're telling me you're single and you're in a relationship. So I'd want to know. So I'd be like, okay, because when you're holding, like I said, when you said he was holding your hand on the second date, that feels quite quick. Most people start holding hands a couple of months in. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Like at least a few weeks in, they've spent way more time.
Yeah.
So it would have looked to me like you were a lot further on, to the point that maybe you probably wouldn't be seeing other people.
Right.
So I'd be like, are you in a relationship? If you're like, no, I'd be like, okay, but I saw you holding this guy's hand. Like, what's that about? And then so I would have asked you.
You would have asked, but then if my response was, it was a second date, but I don't like him.
Yeah.
Would you believe me, or would you be like, would that cause a trust issue there? I
wouldn't not believe you, but I would be cautious.
Okay. Cool.
So I wouldn't decide, I wouldn't have made the decision on whether I fully believe you or not.
Okay.
Because I don't know you that well.
You don't know, yeah.
And so I'd have been like, it wouldn't have been a write-off, because I'd been like, she might be telling the truth. And if I got to know you and stuff, I'd be like, okay, that probably was that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I probably would have made a joke. I'd have been like, well, you know, he was wearing whack trainers anyway. So. Do you know what I mean? I would have made some witty joke just to take the piss.
Just laughed it off.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
But if he saw you holding hands, he might have thought you were in something deeper.
Yeah.
Especially if, for example, because was that your second date or your third date with him?
Second date with him.
Second date. Did you kiss on the first date?
Which one?
So the guy who you said is now like kind of a friend who did.
So I kissed him on the second date because it was a coffee the first date, so it's not really like a kissing situation. But we went for like wine and drinks on the second date, and we did kiss on the second date.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because I was saying if he was like trying to be intimate with you, and you weren't doing that, and then he saw you being affectionate with another guy, I might be like, oh well, that's actually the guy you really want.
Yeah.
And you're just using me for my attention. Because sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay.
But you're still friends now. That's
we
really
speak
interesting.
now and again. He's got a new girlfriend now, so we're not like besties, but we had been out for like lunch and stuff previously.
Okay, so why did things end?
He told me because he was going to get back with his ex, but then...
so he ended things.
Yeah, he ended things.
Interesting.
But then when we saw each other, like, it was nice, but then we were both in new relationships and like quite new relationships. So it was kind of, don't know.
Yeah. I think that's probably what happened.
Okay.
Or something else. She's got a whole sheet,
I've got a whole sheet.
She's got it.
I got like a funny-ish story. Or why would a guy do this?
Okay, go for it.
So, it's not even funny, actually. It's actually quite bad.
Oh.
So I posted a picture of myself on my Instagram.
Okay.
Like, I'm single. It was a bikini shot.
Okay.
I thought I looked good. I was like, I want to post that. Like, I'm 35 and I was like, I'm going to post that for me. Like, post it. Anyway, I post this picture and like no one really cares what I post on my Instagram. I feel like no one really reacts that much to stuff. And I put it onto my story. And then this guy who I've not dated, but we'd spoken a few times, I actually borrowed his car for a photo shoot for my brand.
Right.
He drives like a Lamborghini. So I was like, can I borrow that for my brand for the photo shoot? And he was really nice about it. He didn't try and hit on me. And he was like, yeah, you can borrow the car because he lives really close.
Yeah.
And then... So I posted this picture and he sent this message saying, I think you need to do more squats to look more hot.
What are you doing, bro?
I read it and I was like, I kind of laughed. I was like, okay, he's trying to get me to go to the gym with him, okay? By like negging me or whatever he's doing, okay?
Okay, I didn't even think about that.
So I'm like, okay. But what followed? So he screenshotted the picture of me.
Yeah.
He photoshops my butt and does a before and after.
Oh, no.
And sends it to me. And I'm like,
why
would anyone do that? I mean, I wasn't particularly upset about it. I kind of laughed about it and thought it was funny, but actually, it's actually really bad. Some of my friends were so angry about it. They were like, guys, like editing like pictures of you.
And then sending it to you.
And then sending it. I mean, you know, I did put the picture out to start with, so you can't control what you're going to get back. But,
I understand.
You know, thoughts?
Okay, this is the only train of thought that's coming to mind. He saw you in that bikini shot, because he didn't hit on you first, right? He saw you in that bikini shot and was like, oh, actually, she's kind of fit. And I'm saying this plainly. I'm not saying this is okay, but I feel like this was his thought process.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, actually, she's kind of fit. If she did some more squats, I would for sure go there.
Oh my God.
If she looked like this, I would for sure go there. She's almost there, but not quite. So I'm going to try and encourage her to do that. And I think that's what he did. Wow. Douchey thing to do.
Yeah.
What a dick.
Yeah.
That was...
Agreed.
Bro, what? What? That's so dumb. Does he follow you?
Oh,
on Instagram?
Then he unfollowed me. And this is another thing. Like, guys will do things... This is a generalization, not all guys.
Yeah, go for it.
Guys can do things to upset you. You pull them up on their behavior, they block you, they unfollow you. I'm like, hold on, you upset me, now you're blocking and unfollowing me. Like, is it a control thing so they can gain back control? Or, like, what's the reasoning behind that? Because for me, it's really bizarre. Like, they're the one that's done something wrong. You've pulled them up on their behavior, then they block or unfollow.
Do they block only when you try to address it with them?
Like, I've addressed stuff with someone before, and I've said he actually apologized to me. So that not that guy, but another guy. Sure. So he did something wrong. He apologized, and he said, "Oh, sorry, I don't think I'm in the right place right now." And I was like, "I'm upset by what you did." Yeah. And then he liked my comment, and then he blocked me. Right. But then he found me 2 days later on Instagram, sent me a message and was like, oh, I just want to apologize again. So after he's blocked me on WhatsApp, he then finds me on Instagram to message me to apologize again for his behavior.
Right.
It was just quite bizarre. And now I'm blocked on Instagram as well, but I just don't.
Why are all these guys blocking you? What are you saying to them, Joanne? What are you really saying? What are you saying to them? She's coming across as really nice and sweet, but maybe there's something under the surface.
No, I think when I'm not love bombed at the start, I am quite... Like, if a guy does something wrong, I will tell them I'm upset and I will communicate that. And I think some of these guys aren't used to a girl saying, actually, you've upset me. Or, like, what you did wasn't okay because of this. Right. And I won't say it in a mean way. Like, I'm not attacking their character. I'm just saying this has upset me. And all I want from that is to be heard and my feelings to be validated and for them to understand my perspective.
Can you give me an example of... the most, where a guy thought it was the most benign thing you were complaining to him about?
No, I feel like every time I've actually said something, people are like, yeah, she has a point, and they've apologized to me.
Give me an example.
Okay, I've got to think of one. I can't really tell you the full story around this because it's...
Oh, okay.
Okay, I will, but not fully. I will tell you and leave some parts out.
Okay.
So there was a guy... So after I broke up with my ex, like a year and a half ago, I was kind of like, I don't want to date for a while. And to be honest, over the last year, I've probably been on like 5 dates total. Like I've not been dating that much because I've been working on myself. I was making a joke to my friends, like, I'm fed up of, like, guys moving into my flat and me looking after them. Like, I may as well just, like, cry in a Ferrari and at least I'm in a Ferrari. Like, it was a joke.
Yes.
But, like, you know how you kind of, like, manifest things sometimes?
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So prior to this, actually, it had been going on for a while. There's a guy that lives kind of close to me. He drives a Ferrari. And I kept seeing him at the traffic lights all the time. And then it got weird because I'd see him like in Soho walking down the street and I'd see him like outside Tesco's and we kept bumping into each other. And I was like, oh, maybe the universe like wants me to speak to this guy. And I was with my gay bestie one day and we bumped into him and he was like, oh, he's really nice, Joe. I think he like quite likes you. So then the girls were like, you should just like leave your number in his car.
Love that. Love that. Love it.
And I was like, oh, I don't know, maybe I'll wait till I see him next because I was bumping into him a lot.
Yeah.
But then I hadn't seen him for a while and his car was parked like outside the Tesco's, like near where he lives. Yeah. So I was like, okay, write a little note, put it on there.
Love it. Love that.
I know. I've never done that before. It's the first time I've ever done that. And didn't hear from him for a couple of days. And it rained, so we were like, did he get the note? Did he not get the note?
Oh shit, it was washed away. It was washed away. No.
But then he did message me 2 days later. So he's obviously got the note. He's playing it cool. Yeah. He messages, what are you doing tomorrow night? Do you want me to take you for dinner? I was like, okay, we're going for dinner. Like, had a really nice date with him. Nice guy. he tried it on the first date. I was like, no, I don't, like, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And then we were kind of talking a bit, and then second date happened, and he did something a little bit inappropriate.
Okay.
Which, I won't fully
You don't have to say
discuss.
that. That's fine.
And after, like, the date had finished, like, he messaged me and was like, I'm really sorry. And he apologized to me.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, I'm upset. Basically, I said I was upset. And that's when he blocked me. And then he went back onto Instagram to find me and say, to be honest, I've been talking to my ex and I've got a kid with her and this is all going on. And I was like, okay. So I gave him the benefit of the doubt and I carried on talking to him just as like a friend kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then like a few months later, he was like, oh, do you want to go for a drive? And I was like, okay. And then I was like, said something about it. He was like, what ex? So I think he lied to like make himself look a certain way. So I did pull him up a few times on his behavior because like when he
behavior
left,
before.
Yeah, when he left on the second date, I was like, I just said to him, you're an asshole. Like, I just said that to him. And he was a bit like, I think he was shocked because I think other girls are like, oh, he drives a nice car and he's got money and I just play into it. Right. Not all girls.
I know what you mean. Maybe that's what he's
maybe
used to.
he's younger as well. So he's like 27, 28.
Yeah.
Which is too young for me and I shouldn't be dating 27, 28 year olds. But so I don't know if he's used to that kind of behavior. And even like on the first date, I'm probably a bit too full on because I do talk about like, not even on a first date, but if it comes up, I will talk about like triggers and like trauma. Like I want to know the person. I want to know how they're going to behave after an argument. Because for me, if someone's going to like storm off and ignore me for like 2 days, like that makes me anxious. So like, I know I don't want that. So like, I want to know how the person's going to behave after an argument. I want to know like, are they going to say mean things in an argument just to be controlling or just to be mean? Are they going to threaten to leave like during arguments? And if that sort of stuff naturally comes up on like first, second dates, I will have that discussion. But I don't know if it's like a little bit, it's a bit intimidating, maybe.
I think it can feel like an interview.
Yeah.
It's like, tell me this, and this to see if you're right for me. And it's just like half these things we just kind of not see what happens, but we kind of see what happens. Like, because I don't know, sometimes, you know, who you are today is different who you were 5 years ago.
It's true.
So the kind of relationship or partner you would be today might also be a bit different to how you were 5 years ago. So maybe 5 years ago you would say mean things because you feel that way in the moment, but maybe you wouldn't do that now. Yeah. So I think, especially on the first couple of dates, if you're like, tell me what your triggers are, what you're gonna be like when you're angry, what you like when you're horny, what you like when I say no, what you like when I say yes. It can feel like an interview. And it's just like, are we here to see if we vibe and connect? Or are you just, because sometimes it can feel like you're just looking for a man. Not that you're looking for him. Right. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like, I'm looking for a man who's this, this, and this. Do you tick those boxes? If you do, we can carry on. Yeah. Whereas for guys, that sounds like, it sounds like you don't want me to be your boyfriend. You just want a boyfriend. Oh, no. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah, okay. And you're kind of like, you're looking for someone to fill that position. Not that you want me. Okay. Not that you've met me and go, oh, wow, I want you to be my boyfriend. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I think the reason he blocked you is because he sounds like a half decent guy. He probably reflected on his actions and had shame. Right. Okay. And he probably got afraid because if it was something sexual, right? He probably got afraid that you would take it further. So he was like, I don't want to think about it. I'm going to block her. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's what happened. Yeah. And then nothing happened. And then he was probably like, I should probably apologize to her because that was fucked. Well, yeah, I see him sometimes, and if it's on his terms, he'll like say hello to me. If it's on my terms and I try and say hello to him just to be nice, like he'll be like, I'm on the phone, he won't talk to me. But if he's not on the phone, so he's just walking and then you come and you're like, oh, sorry. No, he's got his... Yeah. He's always got his earpods in when he's walking, so he's always on the phone. Oh. He might be on the phone. He might be. I mean, like, if you say he's like 27, 28 and he's driving Ferrari, so that's very exceptional. Yeah. So if he's a very busy guy, that might be the case. It may be the case. Do you know what I mean? It's just bizarre. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Interesting. I'm going to ask you one thing. Okay. I've got a question for you. Yeah, do. Have you ever met a guy where you're like, I find you so attractive that I would have fun with you, but I don't see long-term potential with you?
Yeah.
What is the different criteria for a guy you go, oh, I see a long term with you, and this guy is, I'd have fun with you, but nothing more?
I think it's more about their behavior. So if they're if they know they're hot, for example.
Yeah.
And one of the things I've noticed sometimes guys do on like even first dates will be like, oh yeah, this girl fancies me and this girl fancies me. And for me, that's like the biggest turn off. Like, I don't want to hear that every girl fancies you and every girl asks you out. Because for me, that's like, one, why are you telling me that? And two, like, that's...
What do you want me to do with that information?
What do you want me to do with that?
I know why he's telling you. Why do you think he's telling you that?
To make me feel like there's competition to like go for him. I don't know.
Oh.
Or he's insecure. I don't know.
I think
it all goes back to them being insecure.
it's like every girl's just like, if a guy does this weird thing, he's probably just insecure. No, he's probably he's trying to express how desirable he is, so you should like him.
Okay, but that just completely
of course
switches me off. And the same with like my other girl. Like we were speaking about it the other day. My friend went out on a date and he was talking about all these girls and his exes. She was like, I don't like him anymore.
Yeah, I think it's very difficult for men to be desirable to women. Yeah. Very difficult.
Yeah.
Like, because most men are not. There's the truth. Most men struggle. Like, really? A lot. Oh, 100%.
Okay.
100%. How many single men do you think are out here dating, having sex with women, going on dates, being intimate? How many single guys?
All of them.
All of them?
Yeah. Of course they are. No?
Not even close.
Really?
It's about 15 to 20% of them.
No way.
Maybe.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the criteria for what it takes for a man to be attractive is much higher than what it is for women. So let me ask you this. Out of a random 50 guys who approach you, right? Random 50 guys, old, young, fat, slim, that's right? True. How many of them that approach you that you go, oh, I like the look and vibe in you enough that I'd go on a date with you?
No, it's so true. Because you know when you get all your Hinge likes through even? No. No.
So out of 50, give me a number.
Maybe one.
Maybe one?
Yeah.
Okay. Most girls are like that.
Yeah, okay. Fine.
Out of 50 random guys, most girls would maybe give 1 to 5 a chance, maybe.
It's true.
But the issue is, the same one guy you give a chance is the same guy she gives a chance. Yeah. She gives a chance. She gives a chance. Right? And most guys get nothing. So when a guy's like, I'm one of those guys that all the other girls want, he's trying to say, I'm desirable, I'm a catch. Yeah. So you should like me. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying guys should do that. That's a whack way to try and prove how desirable you are. How desirable you are, because everyone doesn't know. You should know. The richest person in the room isn't the one wearing the most bling.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Because they don't need to do that. Because it's like, if you're there, your results will speak for themselves. Yeah. Like you said, like you'll see a guy and you'll be like, you might see him on his own and you'll be like, he's attractive, confident, intelligent. Yeah, girls probably like him. Mm-hmm. Or you see him with other people and you're like, yeah, girls probably like him. Like, you don't have to say that. Mm-hmm. But I think sometimes guys feel, dare I say, it can actually come from a place of insecurity.
There we go.
When they like a girl and they go, I really want her to like me. And if they feel that they don't know, they try to say, hey, I'm all this because they all want me, so you should want me too. Yeah. So I think that's probably where it comes. That one's probably insecurity to be
Sorry, I went off on a tangent, didn't I? Your original question was the difference between a guy long-term and a guy that short-term.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if they are really, really good looking, there is that factor if they know they're really good looking. And I think the short-term guys in the past, like, maybe were a little bit younger and I was like, they're probably not ready. Yes. And they're probably not emotionally aware enough. Like, emotional intelligence is like a really big thing for me.
Yeah, 100%.
So if that's not there, and I'm not saying that younger guys don't have that, because some older guys don't have it. You know, 100%. It's not about age, but in my situation, it was.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. Half the women I've dated actually have been older than me for that exact reason.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get it. Yeah. I get it. So basically, short-term guy is really attractive, just not emotionally there. Long-term guy is, give me the list.
Oh, there is a list. I think I always used to be like, oh, looks aren't that important. I just want someone I connect with and I want chemistry. Mm-hmm. But now I'm reflecting, no, I want someone that I fancy as well. I want this person because the chemistry is great and that's fine and it does last to begin with. But then you can start like when you start not fancying them anymore because the chemistry is still there, but like that initial honeymoon phase like wears off, then you're like, do I actually fancy this guy? And then that's a problem. So I do need to fancy them to.
Does it wear off because they stop being physically attractive to you? Because the chemistry is always going to shift.
Yeah.
Like as you get into a long-term relationship, that's just normal. That's part of the process. Like part of the reason there's chemistry is because there's distance and we want to get close.
Yeah.
But when you get into a relationship, you're close, so there's less mystery. So you become familiar. And that's not saying that you shouldn't still be attracted to them.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be like the first, 5 years into it. It's not going to be the same as the first 5 weeks into it.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you can't still have amazing intimacy, but the intimacy is different.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I agree. But if you're not that into them physically at the beginning, but you're into them because of the connection,
right?
Then when that shift happens and there's not the same, I don't know if that's, have
so
you
it's
ever
almost
done
like,
that?
is it almost like for you, like almost their physical appearance matters more later?
Possibly, but I've changed that now because now I'm like, no, I want someone that's like from the
6-pack
beginning.
abs.
No,
nice
it doesn't have
arms,
to be 6-pack.
good jawline.
I'm not that strict with it. And even with the height thing, like, yeah, I want someone that's taller than me, but I don't necessarily want someone that's 6'4". Like, it doesn't.
How tall
There's
are you?
things I can compromise on. I'm only 5'4", 5'5".
Oh, okay, so
maybe.
most guys are taller than you.
Yeah, so the height thing's not a problem, but I feel like that's a big thing for a lot of girls. But I would compromise on that. So
Sure.
I've got things that I would compromise and then things that I won't. So like the emotional intelligence thing, I won't compromise on. They need to be able to self-reflect.
Yes.
And they don't have to have the same opinions or the same love languages or the same way at responding to like arguments and stuff. But my only rule is like you're able to self-reflect and we're able to discuss and we're able to compromise.
Of course.
Because if we can't compromise and we can't communicate, but it's not even communication because you can communicate, but if the other person doesn't understand you or
Yes.
you're not heard or doesn't validate your feelings, then you don't really have a communication or a trusting relationship because you're missing some like key factors. So for me, like someone who's like worked on themselves a bit, maybe looked within, like that's such a green flag for me.
Sure.
And someone like they don't even have to be able to express emotion like by talking like through words fully, but the actions will express it, like and their behavior.
Exactly.
So
yeah, actions speak louder than words.
yeah. So
Yeah, I hear that. What's something else?
have I got something else on this?
Yeah, go for it.
I think I'm nearly. Oh yes, masculine, feminine energy.
Yes.
So, me and like a few of my girls, we're quite sort of independent. You know, we've got our own things, we've got our business, you know, things that we're doing.
Yes.
Do guys find that intimidating is the first question, but also because I'm quite a like kind, nurturing, like loving person, and I like to be that in a relationship with my partner.
That's nice. Yeah.
But if a guy's giving me slight red flag vibes, like I will back off and go into my like masculine energy and be like, I'm independent, I'm gonna do this.
Right.
So a guy's really got to like get to that place where I trust him enough for me to be in my feminine energy with him.
Sure.
But in the meantime, maybe I'm pushing him away with my kind of businessy, like masculine energy, like not really showing that affectionate side. And I feel like it's the guys that love bomb me that get to see that feminine side immediately because they're giving me all the like, even though it's not real, but they're giving me all of the like right signs that I can trust this guy.
Yeah.
So I end up with those kind of guys.
Yes.
Whereas actually the guy who's probably doing a few things and he's a bit not red flaggy, but maybe pink flaggy. It's what we call it, amber flags.
Amber flags.
Maybe that's okay. And at the start, maybe it's okay to have a few amber flags and you just have to, it depends what the amber flags are. Like things like me and my friend are discussing, you know, a guy changing his Hinge profile when you first started dating. Maybe that's not a red flag, but it's an amber flag. Like, does this guy like me and is he just going to be messing around? But to me, that might go, oh, I'm not sure if he likes me that much. I'm going to go into my masculine energy. I don't need anyone. Like, I'm not going to be as affectionate. I'm not going to reach out to him and make like plans to see him.
Yeah.
So I think that might be where myself and some of my more independent friends actually struggle with that initial dating process.
100%. Okay. You're kind of spot on, pretty much.
Okay.
Let me ask you this. What if a guy said to you that he's only going to be masculine with you when you show your feminine to him?
Okay.
You'd be like, either you're that guy or not, right?
Right.
That's how guys take it. It's like, if you're saying that you're only going to be feminine once I display and provide a frame, and I believe guys should provide frame, right? But if it's almost conditional femininity for how you're going to be in a relationship, it doesn't seem authentic.
Yeah, okay.
And when you show your masculine, he goes, oh, the beginning her was her because she was just trying to get me. This is who she really is.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying? And a guy's intimidated by you being independent, successful. No, they're not intimidated by that. It's just it's because, to be honest, whether a woman's successful or not, most guys just don't care. Especially if he's a masculine man who's on his purpose and he has stuff going for him. Like, your success level doesn't make you more or less attractive to him. What does is how you are with him. And so if you are masculine with him and he's looking for a more woman who sits in her feminine, that just makes him go, okay, we're not compatible, because what she wants isn't what I have to give, and vice versa. Yeah. Now, I completely understand. It is true that the feminine needs a space to feel safe to come out. I 100% get that. But when you date someone, it's all about risk. Yeah. You take that risk when you date someone, and sometimes the risk pays off and you get a lovely relationship, and sometimes the person's not right for you. Yeah. But you have to be willing to take that risk in order. No risk, no reward.
It's true.
Do you know what I mean? So I completely get, if you're being that side of yourself with a guy and affectionate stuff, and he's kind of doing things that I'm not really sure, that doesn't mean you should switch up how you're being, because he might be doing those things because he doesn't know whether he likes you. He doesn't know whether you like him, because you haven't established anything yet. So it's still really early days. But then when you show consistency like that, he goes, oh wow, she's actually really kind and sweet and amazing. Like, yeah, I'm going to, like, because his investment for you should go up as you date. Yeah. It's not going to be high straight from the go, because he doesn't know you. Yeah. And vice versa. Like, you're not going to give him, prioritize him, because you don't know him either. You don't know if he's right for you. So yeah, like, if you, and, I want to make it clear that just because you're maybe, strong and independent and you've got a business and stuff, which is great, it doesn't mean you shouldn't do that. Do you know what I mean? It's just, like you said, it's, okay, that's who you are for your career and stuff, and then who do you want to be in your relationship, and you can decide who that is. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And if you are that feminine side, then that strong masculine guy is going to come for you. Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like I want to be, like, looked after a bit, but, like, my ex was always like, you never need anything from me or anything. But then when I'd be like, can you make me a cup of tea? Like, it would take, like, an hour for him to bring me a tea. Like, he wouldn't. And that sounds like a really stupid example. I could probably think of a better one. But it's not that I don't want someone to look after me a bit. And I feel like when people see you being independent and doing your own thing, like, they don't think they need to look after you. Yes. Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. This comes up a lot. Yeah. That women will find other women who maybe aren't as strong and independent and striving, guys do more for them. Yeah. But it's because it seems like I don't want to say it's like she needs it more. There is a stronger need for it. Does that make sense? Yeah. So it's kind of like, if you, okay, if I'm in the station and I see a woman carrying a big suitcase up the stairs, and it seems like she's handling it fine, I'm not going to offer help. Yeah. If I see a woman struggling a little bit, I'm like, hey, let me do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Because it's like, well, if you don't need it, then, and it's not saying you should need it, but that's the psyche for guys. Yeah. And you were saying about with that partner just now, you're like, oh, if I asked for a cup of tea, you just wouldn't do it. Yeah. And you said that you kind of want a guy to take care of you. Did you always want a guy to take care of you, or has that been a shift in kind of more recent
I think it's something I've probably realised, because I think when I was younger, I was always like, I've got my own thing and I can be independent, and still, like, I'm happy, like, 50-50 is fine, but sometimes I just want to feel like the guy wants to do something nice to me. Or, like, there was a time I came back from the US and I was landing, I'd been away for 14 days, and I kind of thought my partner would come and pick me up from the airport. And he didn't. And I know, like, I should have probably, and I did communicate. I was like, I thought you might come and get me. And he was like, oh, I thought about it, but then I didn't. And I was like, I just want someone who's going to, even though I can get back from the airport on my own, like, I want that. I want someone to come pick me up from the airport. Like, they're excited to see me.
Sure. So, and how long have you been together at that point?
Yeah, a year.
A year. Yeah. Okay.
And he was living with me.
Right.
Yeah.
You to start as you means to go on.
Okay.
Because what happened is, a year in, to him, it's like, you've shifted what you want from me.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
And we've already established how this relationship works.
Okay. Yeah.
That's not saying you can't want what you want, but if you've been a type of way for a guy, with a guy, and he's been with you, and that's been great, and that's like, this is what I love, and then you start asking for something else, he's like, whoa, why?
Yeah.
And he'd be like, if this is what you asked for from the beginning, either A, I would have done that, or B, I would have said, that's not me, and we wouldn't have got together.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if the shift happens halfway through a relationship, and I completely get it, but you need to be that from the beginning.
Okay.
Because you know how you're saying, this is how I feel loved and affection? That's what you show at the beginning. You go, this is how I feel. Like, I love it when a man makes me feel safe.
Yeah.
I love it. Not that I can't take care of myself, but I really appreciate it when a guy does.
Yeah.
And I get you want to show that you can do it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I want to show that we can be equals in this relationship. There's no such thing as a 50-50 relationship.
Yeah, that's true.
Because we bring different things, different strengths, different values. So there'll be some things where you contribute more. There'll be some things where he contributes more.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And what it sounds like is like you were 50-50 in one area. You wanted him to start contributing more. And he's like, this is not what we agreed.
I mean, were we ever 50-50? Like, we were probably 50-50 at the start. And then it went like, I was like, putting more into it because he was having like some, which is fine because I was like, you know, let's get him back to where he was, thinking he would come back to where he was. But he didn't. So you don't mind like investing more and putting more in because you know that in a relationship sometimes you have to give more and sometimes they're going to give more.
You see it as an investment. I'm expecting that return, boy. Give me that return.
Actually, that's no, the way I've said that, that's really bad, isn't it?
No, but it's true. People do that.
No, but like if I'm giving, then if you're in a bad space, you kind of expect your partner to be there for you as well.
Oh, they
like,
should be.
So,
that's what they're there for.
So it's not an investment.
Any one last thing that we haven't covered?
I don't think so. My friends have banned me from dating Chris's and no more Andys for my friends. So Chris's and Andys are off the list.
Just a random question, not to your friends. Are your friends in relationships or single?
I've got quite a few single friends.
Okay.
So we're all kind of in the same boat and we're all kind of struggling to like find...
Do you have any friends in relationships?
I haven't... Yeah, I do.
Do you ask her for advice?
I feel like some of the people that are in relationships haven't been on the dating scene. So I feel like they met their partners, now they settled down, they've got kids.
Sure.
So they've not actually been through this whole, and especially the London dating scene.
Yep.
I feel like it's very different and they wouldn't know where to start. Like, so you swipe through like their profiles.
So they've been in relationships like over a decade?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Do you have any friends in relationships like past few years?
Yeah, so my neighbour is now in a relationship. She was on Hinge and she met him on Hinge.
Okay.
And we chat a lot because her way of doing Hinge was I only go on coffee dates for the first date.
Yes.
Which is a great idea. And then if you like them, you can go on another. However,
absolutely.
There was a guy I matched with on Hinge. I was like, let's grab a coffee. And he was like, we can do better than that. Let's go for dinner and drinks. And I was a bit like, well, I don't have a lot of time and I don't ask that many people out for coffee. So I've just asked you, I didn't say this to him, but in my head, I'm like, I've just asked you for a coffee. I would take that.
So how did you respond when you said that to you?
I was just like, I haven't got a lot of time at the moment. Like, can we do a coffee and then just go from there? I think that's what I said. This is a little while ago. I'm trying to remember exactly what I said. But I feel, and I spoke to someone about this as well, just a guy I was chatting to. And he said, yeah, when a girl suggests a coffee, we think they just don't like us. And I'm like, but how do we know if you like, it's just images. Like, how do you get energy from images?
No, I think your friend who's in a relationship, absolutely right. If a guy says, no, we can do better than that, you say, I completely appreciate the effort you want to make in taking me out.
Yeah.
But because I don't know yet, I don't know if we should do that. So I would really love to get to know you over coffee first.
Okay.
And you have that standard for yourself. The reason I asked about your single friends, this is no jade to them, is because people like to recruit.
Okay.
Single people like to recruit single people. And why I asked about, do you ask advice from your friends in relationships?
Okay.
If you want to get into a relationship, you ask from people who have what you want.
Okay.
Does that make sense? That's not saying your friends give you bad advice.
No.
But sometimes, and I've seen this a lot, especially with women, like friends will be like, fuck him, blah, 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 blah. But you ask the girl who's in a relationship and be like, okay, it might have been this. Be cautious of this, but start approaching it this way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I get the dating scene is, you know, crazy, obviously. But I think that you should start inquiring with your friend who's in a relationship within the past few years and seeing what she says about certain situations. Because this sounds so bad. I don't want to say this. It sounds really bad.
No, it's okay. Honesty's the best
Okay.
policy.
Because people who are single, who want to be in a relationship, they're single for a reason. And maybe they haven't figured it out yet.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And everyone's journey is different. But it could be that there could have been missed opportunities along the way with certain people.
Yeah.
And we're all guilty of it.
Yeah.
You know, we're all guilty of it. You know, if I want single advice, I go to my single friends. But if I want relationship advice, I go to the guy who's been in a relationship for 10 years and be like, my girl's doing this, blah, 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 what do I do? He's like, look, you need to understand this about women. Sometimes it's not about solving their problem. Sometimes they just want to be heard and validated. Yeah. It took me a while to learn that. I only learned that in the recent 3 or 4 years. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was from someone who had been there, done that, established. I was like, well, if I'm going to have a long-term relationship, right, I need to understand that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
It's been a pleasure having you on. You are such good energy and vibe.
Thank you.
Where can people find you if they want to follow you or send you a cheeky DM for a coffee?
At Joanne Jolene Jones.
Joanne Jolene Jones. Well, guys, give her some love. Go check her out. Go give her a follow. Show her some likes. Give her some validation. Like that bikini picture as well.
Yeah, the butt picture.
Let's boost it. Let's boost it. Right. Let's show that guy that she's all right. She's all right. Thank you for coming on. We appreciate your energy.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank you for your advice. Very good advice.
Listen, I'm here. You got my contact. If you want to chat, you know, we'll get you on again at some point as well if you want to come on. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and I will see you in the next episode.